Welcome back to Moving Cardboard. Here we go with our solo progression series, trucking a little long through the Rivendell cycle. So today I'm playing the second adventure pack. This quest is called The Road to Rivendell. So in the last quest we crossed over the Misty Mountains, and now we're still escorting Arwen. This adventure has another copy of Arwen. It's basically the exact same card, but with a different set symbol there, obviously. So when she exhausts, she gives a resource to another hero, and she, if she leaves the game, I lose. So here, I'm on the western slopes of the Misty Mountains, moving north to Rivendell, and this, it concludes when we get there, basically. So I've shuffled up my deck here, and so here's the first card, the 1A. Your party has braved the snows of the pass, but now must travel north along the Misty Mountains for league upon league as you escort Arwen to her father's house. Put her in play, reveal a card from the encounter deck. And then the backside is, this is a wild and perilous country. It's dangerous to follow the roads. The mountains rise up on the right, impassively watching your slow trek among the foothills. So that'll go up there. This one has got one of the worst encounter cards, treachery cards, one could imagine. However, there are only 2 copies of it, and the last time I played, I drew both of them. One is the treachery, one is the shadow, and I still won. It wasn't that bad. I lost Biffer, I lost a hero, I lost a lot of allies, but I was still able to win. So far in my limit, I've played this one a little less than I've played other ones before making the video, and I haven't really had a lot of trouble with it. So we'll see. I don't know if it's just been luck, because like I said, I've only played it 5 times and I've only lost once. So I don't know if it's just a lucky streak. We'll see. Okay, and I'm trying something else. So I like these better for my resources. I'm using wooden cubes right now. Let me draw my 6 cards. One change I made in this deck was I took Kazad out, and I added Hasty Stroke. I put 2 copies of Hasty Stroke because there are a lot of horrible shadow. Wow, I drew both of them. There are a lot of horrible shadow effects. I already had Test of Will for just Wind Revealed, but there's some shadow effects that just, like Sleeping Sentry, that can ruin your day and your game. So I put those in. And Kazad, I didn't really use it much. So that's my 6 cards. I need to put a card in the staging area, and it's Pathless Country. Okay, so after at least 1 token is placed on it, remove a token from it. And see, the shadow is deal a damage to every ally. There's lots of stuff like that. And Arwen only has 2, so you draw that twice. That's how I lost the game the one time I lost it. So that's where I'm starting out at. I will draw for turn 1. We're off. It's not a lot of map stuff to show you. I mean, it's just you're heading north. There's nothing. I don't remember any references to anything specific in the cards. Okay, so well, yeah. Let's go questing. Like Sleeping Sentry, for example, the shadow effect. Well, I feel pretty safe right now because I have both Hasty Strokes, but the shadow effect is discard every exhausted character. So, like, you quest with Arwen and you lose the game. But I'm going to quest 3, 5. I'm going to quest with Dwalin as well, so that's 7. Arwen will give a resource to Dwalin. 2, 4, 7. Okay. We had a Goblin Archer. So that's from the Plundering Goblin set. We saw this guy before. He's not new. Can't option engage. Whenever he's revealed from the encounter deck, I have to deal damage to a character. So I've got 5 threat here, 3 and 4, 5, Between 2 is 5, so I get 2 progress out of 20. And quick first turn. 28. Trying these, I can do things like, sometimes I get confused as to what I exhausted somebody for. Like if they exhausted but they're not questing now, I can say if they use their power, I can put it here. If they quest, I can cover the willpower icon. If they exhaust a fight, if they exhaust to defend, stuff like that. A little help. Alright. So turn 2, there's my resources, and I draw Gildor and Glorian. I didn't travel the pathless country. I could sneak attack Gandalf to just kill this goblin archer to get rid of him. Which I think I might do just because I don't want to deal damage to the character I control. Leaving that there could just, over time, be pretty nasty. So why not? Let's just get started early, try to get through this. Sneak attack Gandalf for the damage effect to kill him. The only way I can get him. Otherwise he's going to sit there. And then I'll quest with Gandalf, I'll quest with Arwen, I'll quest with Bifur. So that would be 3, that would be 9. And I'll give this resource to, I'll give it to Bifur this time. I'll quest with Dwalin as well, so it's 11. Crebain, Flux of Crebain, they have Surge. When they're in the staging area, encounter card effects can be cancelled. Okay, so I'm going to have to optionally engage him. I hope I don't get Sleeping Sentry. I don't. I either have to deal 1 damage to all allies in play and give this card Surge, or all enemies engaged with players make an immediate attack if able. I don't think I can choose that second option because there are no enemies engaged with me. So I have to do the first. I have to deal 1 damage to all allies in play. Okay, that's not cut at all. And Surge. Goblin Spearman. Okay, so okay, I quested for, what would I quest for again? 2, 4, 8. I quested for 11. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 minus 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is 4. So 4 plus 2 is 6. So got a big cube for 5. 6 on there. Engagement. I'm going to optionally engage this Crebain, and I'm going to, he's going to come at me. Bane will defend against the Goblin Spearman. No shadow effect. The Crebain will go undefended. Defending player must discard 2 resources from each hero he controls. Okay, that's nasty. Do I want to cancel that? I would lose 5 resources. I've got another Hasty Stroke, so I think I'll cancel it just because I drew both. If I didn't have both Hasty Strokes in hand, I would not do that. Okay, so Gandalf comes back in my hand. I should have put him in my hand sooner, but it doesn't really matter. Turn 3, 29 threat. So Arwen's in danger. I probably don't want to quest with her anymore at all, which is unfortunate. Galadrim's Greeting, that's useful, and I get some resources. All right. What do I want to play? Let's see. He can just sit here, but he's going to generate those nasty shadow effects that can hurt me even though he's not hurting me. So I need to get rid of him, and I need to play allies. I could play Gandalf again. I could play Gandalf again and just kill one of them straight up. But 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to play Gandalf for threat reduction because it's getting up there, and there's some nasty stuff once you start getting into the 30s. 2, 3, 4, 5 to 24. Let's see here. And then I will quest with Gandalf and Bifur. 7. Goblin Taskmaster. He has Ambush, so the mechanic in this one, and I don't really get the point of it. The mechanic in this one is Ambush, which is after this enemy enters play, each player makes an engagement check against it. So that just means he's going to sit in a staging area. It just affects the timing of when they come at you. Sometimes it's good, actually, because say if he were to engage me, then there would only be 3 in the staging area, 3 threat, but he doesn't, so there's 5. I quested for 4, 7, minus 5 is 2, so I quested successfully. I'll let him sit there, and now we're going to do battle. It's tempting to use Arwen to defend. Dane is going to defend against the Goblin Spearman. I'll resolve that attack first, and the Crebain will go. I don't know. Arwen will defend it just in case there's something. Return the attacking area to the... Man, that's annoying. That's actually terrible. Do I want to cancel that one? Because then... Well, I can't cancel encounter card effects right now anyway, so fine. Go back. That's it. He can't hurt the Goblin Spearman, so I'll move on. I'm not sure how this one's going. This play is going kind of... Her getting damaged so quickly is annoying, because she's a great resource acceleration engine for you. I draw a Rivendell fax. Don't need that. Don't need that. 2, 3. And... I'll go ahead and play Galadriel's Greeting. Keep that threat low. Keep that threat low. 19 is my new threat. I should probably travel the Pathless Country this time around. I'm going to risk, because I need something, and I'll put this one on him. So 5, because I've got 3, 5, I've got 7 in the staging area. I could do 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Mountain Warg. So I fail, my threat goes up by 2 to 21. And I'll go ahead and travel this path, this country. I'm going to need to travel, get him out of the way. And then Dane's going to defend this Goblin Spearman again. If the defending character is an ally, discard it. He's not, he's a hero. My turn will end. Okay, my wife came home in the mid-game. Okay, let's see. So, we draw for turn. Did I draw? I don't think I did. Alright, so Miner of the Iron Hills is what I get. Nice card. Okay, so I really need to get some allies out. I'm gonna get Gildor. I'll take that and pay those, and I will not play anything else. So Gildor's not going to use his special power yet. I'm actually going to utilize him to I'll quest with her. I'll run the rest of it. I'll use him to quest also. So 3, 6, 7, 8. We got 6 in the staging area. Black Rooks. When revealed, first player is choose and discard attachment of requested character. There's none of that. 2, 4, 6, 8. 8, 8. I matched it. And Dane will defend against the Spearman. Might as well, should have quested with him. If attack is undefended, it's not undefended, so should have quested with him because he can't hurt this Spearman by himself. So anyway, that's the end of the turn. It's getting kind of hairy here. 23 threat and a lot of stuff in the staging area. Okay, I got a residual miner, so I might, well, a bunch of resources isn't really going to help me right now because I don't have the cards to make it worth my while. But I can do this. I'm going to play this Record Keeper. He's going to steal a resource from Dane. Yeah, so I'm going to quest for 8 again. So another Crabane, which has Surge, and this guy, he has Ambush. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 4 over, so this is terrible. He didn't ambush me, but now that my threat just went up to 27, both of them come down. Now I have 3 enemies that I'm dealing with. Dane can defend against 2 of them because I have this Record Keeper. So let's do, I'll do him first. The Spearman. Nothing, spend a resource and exhaust the Record Keeper. He's attacked. I'll use that to show you attack. Okay. It's tempted to let both of these go undefended so that I can at least kill one of them. Undefended. Deal 1 damage to each ally in play. Okay, I have to cancel that because I will kill Arwen. Hasty Stroke. I have to cancel that. Yeah, so he's going to do 2 damage to Dwalin. Undefended. If it's undefended, deal 2 additional shadow cards to the attacking enemy. Okay. No shadow effect. Defending player must discard all exhausted characters he controls. Yep, there's Sleeping Sentry, so I just lost that Sleeping Sentry. So that's game over right there. I can't cancel it because I just used my Hasty Stroke. Alright, so that's the game. So that's the scenario. That's Road to Rivendell. Like I said, I've usually won the game, but I do concede that it's got some hardcore randomness in it with this card right here in particular. Deemed one of the worst treachery cards in the whole game. So I'm playing progression style and I avoid spoilers, but I've been listening to Cardboard of the Rings, like the old episodes, and I listened to them, to the episode where they talk about this, about the encounter cards. I listened to it after I had played it a couple of times. And like the very last game I played, like right before this one, I drew both of these. So the first is the When Revealed. I drew both and I still won. So deal 1 damage to every exhausted character, then exhaust already characters. So then in my last game, I got the When Revealed effect first. And so 1 damage to every exhausted character, not a big deal. I had just quested, and my threat was low enough that nothing in the staging area engaged me, so exhausting everybody else didn't really have an impact on me. And then the second time I drew it, it came out as a shadow effect, and I didn't have anything to block it with, or cancel it. I didn't have Hasty Stroke in my hand, and so I had not been questing with Arwen at that point in time. That time I started questing with her. It's easier. Usually when I play, I quest with Arwen early, get resources, and then once I've got a developed board state, I just stop using her altogether. And that's what I had done in my prior game. So when I drew this, she wasn't discarded. And so I lost Biffer and a bunch of allies, Gandalf, Gildor and Glorian, Erebor, Hammersmith, and everything. But I was already about finished. I had 10 quest points on the last stage, so it wasn't a big deal. But it's a nasty card, and like I said, there's only 2 copies. Crebain is pretty nasty as well. It's a very annoying card, as you saw. To go along with the ambush mechanic, there's a lot of shadow effects that return the enemy to the staging area. It feels like maybe there aren't. Maybe it just randomly happens to come out a lot for me, but to get the Crebain on the Crebain, just because it's 2 threats, he's otherwise not a threat really to you in terms of hurting you. But the surge and then the encounter card effects can't be canceled. It's pretty bad, especially if you were to draw a Crebain and then surge out a Sleeping Sentry. That would be disgusting kind of thing. But there are some pretty bad encounter effects in this particular set. Let me find some more to go over. We also have Orc Raiders. So he's pretty nasty because he's a 21, so that's really low. And he has ambush, so okay, he engages you. After he engages you, you discard 2 attachments you control, which can be really annoying if he comes right in at you and then, you lose like your Dwyer Elfax or your Citadel Plate or something. Especially if Goblin Gate is in play, because when it's the active location, every enemy, the first enemy, so for me, every enemy, because I'm not playing multiplayer, they all have ambush, and then when it engages, it makes an immediate attack. So basically, this guy would just come off the deck and immediately come down and attack you, and you lose 2 attachments. You might lose some of your defenses or whatever. Otherwise, I don't really see ambush as a big negative. I don't really understand how it's supposed to be that big of a deal because of the sequence of play. You have your planning phase, and then you have your quest phase, and you commit people to the quest, then you do your staging, and then when you finish resolving all that, you do travel, and then you have your encounter phase, where you do your engagement checks, and then combat. Ambush just means you basically do that check during the staging step, but it doesn't make that much of a difference, really. It doesn't make any much of a difference. Even if they do attack, even if Goblin Gate's in play and they make an immediate attack, okay, well, you've already planned. When I'm playing, I've already planned, okay, I'm going to hold these people back to deal with enemies. Something might come off the deck, so I'm going to hold Dane and Dwalin in reserve. They're not going to exhaust the quest. So it just means that they do their combat sooner, honestly. And even if he didn't have ambush, he'd still engage me before the combat phase anyway. So I'm not really sure what difference ambush makes unless you have other synergistic things like Goblin Gate. I don't know. I don't really get the point of it. So this one, whenever he engages you, it deals 2 damage to a character you control. So that's bad. Those are bad. Lose 2 attachments, 2 damage. That's worse than the ambush mechanic, really. Crebain again. Sleeping Sentry, like I said, 2 copies. But the deck's pretty big. Wild Bear, no threat. When he engages a player, it makes an immediate attack. So he's, you know, this one makes sense. If your threat's high, if he ambushes you, then he attacks you. Then he's going to attack you again in the actual combat phase. So he's going to attack you twice. So this one, this particular card is pretty nasty. There's some cards that are like more beneficial, like Ruined Road. When you travel, you can put 2 tokens on it or ready a hero. The question why? Because, you know, the flavor text says roads are dangerous. It's dangerous to follow the roads, but this is a ruined road, which implies it's not heavily traveled, so it's kind of out of the way where, you know, there's less danger. Pathless Country, there's only 2 of these, but that dealing damage to each ally in play is nasty, and it's harder to make any headway. So basically this is Northern Tracker proof, right? Unless you have 2 Northern Trackers, so it defeats the Northern Tracker strategy. Barren Hills, so this is another good one. You ignore ambush, but again, who cares? And this, but the Shadow is another return attacking enemy to staging area. So there's lots of those. This Crebain has it, Barren Hills has it, Ruined Road has it. So it's very frequent that guys jump back, so you can't kill them. It's very annoying, the hit and run aspect of it there. And Orc Ambush is disgusting. It can just generate tons of orcs all on top of you all of a sudden. Has Surge. Orc enemies automatically engage. Return all orc enemies from the discard pile to the staging area. So that can be devastating. All those spearmen with low encounter check costs, you've killed a lot of them, and then suddenly they're all back and they're going to engage you with 15. I mean, it's terrible. I have not experienced this yet, so it's 6 plays. I haven't experienced this yet, so that's the scenario. Because I don't think I'm going to play it again for the videos. I don't find this one that, I like it better than the other one, than Redhorn Gate. I like it better than Redhorn Gate, but it's not the greatest. It's kind of rote. There's a lot of quest points, but the thing with my deck with the map maker, I can just blow through so much of this. So after you go along the Misty Mountains, you hit the Orc Outpost, and that forces the Goblin Gate to be the active location. And then you just make a run for it, and you can't be healed in the last stage. So fairly standard. Again, the ambush mechanic I don't get, but it has Sleeping Sentry and a lot of nasty shadow effects.